Tappei has just released Arc 8 Chapter 22, and this video will be a summary of the chapter. Highly recommend you check out my Arc 8 Chapter 21 summary. Anyways, let's begin. Mr. Chief, can I have a word? Vincent Valakia stopped. He already knew who called out to him. It was a beautiful man with blonde hair and eyes, Flop O'Connell. Vincent states that he doesn't have time to chat. Vincent knew that he had to use the cards in his favour to secure the two lights that can avert the great disaster. Groovy, who had not appeared, was likely to be dead. Therefore, planning around it was useless. Subaru, however, could be utilised to secure the second light, which can save Valakia. This second light is Louis Arnett. Flop, however, grabs Vincent's shoulder, and Vincent says to let go or lose his head. Flop says he wants to talk, and Vincent said that he told him to get his hands off and not to talk. Medium walks through and tells Abel to stop being like that, but Vincent says that they're no longer in the Shadrakian settlement, and positions change. However, Medium says that just because he is the Emperor now, doesn't mean that he should disrespect him. Flop and Medium pull Vincent into a guest room. That's where he usually stays. And Vincent says that this behaviour could result in their whole family being executed. Flop says that it's only him and his sister. The Medium says, wait, what about the people at their orphanage? After all, they're also family. Flop, hearing this, then apologises to Vincent for his behaviour. Flop, however, says that he has a message for Vincent. A message given to him by the false Emperor. Vincent is shocked by this revelation. With that, Vincent had a serious expression and no longer interrupted Flop's speech. The scene changes. Louis Arneb, the Sin Archbishop of Gluttony. As Subaru verbalized it, his chest creaked. Subaru didn't want to verbalize it. It was like a Pandora's box that shouldn't be opened. Subaru and the Emilia camp were in a large guest room which they could use. Garfiel, Emilia, Roswell, Beatrice, Otto were present, alongside the Anastasia camp. Anastasia mutters that she isn't lucky after seeing that Louis is the Sin Archbishop of Gluttony. When Subaru was first sent to Valakia, he took a hardline stance against Louis, which of course caused Rem to be distant. Likewise, even though he wasn't present, he's sure that when Emilia and the rest of the group saw Louis, they must have been confused. Subaru is shocked that they didn't kill her, and Otto said that he did want to, but Emilia stopped them. Not only that, Medium stopped them from getting to Louis when they were in the city of Guaral. Subaru knew that at Chaos Flame, when Louis's identity was revealed, Medium was scared of her, yet afterwards, when they met again, Medium defended her. Emilia says that she understands how Louis feels. After all, she is called a witch, and no one talks to her. However, Otto says that it's totally different since Louis is disliked by her own actions, and Emilia is disliked for her race. Roswell interrupts and asks if Louis has done anything shady, since surely Garfield has his eyes and nose on her at all times. They tell Roswell that she hasn't done anything, but Beatrice and Otto saw her in Pre-Stella and know how she acts, and that she is in fact Louis Arneb. Julius steps forward and asks if this Louis is the same Louis Arneb as the Sin Archbishop. Julius explains that the Sin Archbishop can eat the memories and names of people, which allow them to transform into the people they eat. For example, Lai was able to transform into Rem after eating her, meaning that this Louis could also be the original Louis that was eating, and not necessarily Louis Arneb, the Sin Archbishop of Gluttony. However, Subaru says that this Louis displays the powers of Gluttony, so that cannot be the case, and this must be the original Sin Archbishop. Subaru also treated her badly, but time after time she risked her life for him. To make everyone accept the fact that she is gluttony, but at the same time to tell them that she is needed for the upcoming battle is the current goal. With that, Subaru tells them what happened, a story of him and Lewis when they were sent to Wallachia. Subaru's words sprout like a spring as he tells the story, stating that eventually they teamed up with Yona and they beat Obart in a game. Then the events of Chaos Flame happened. Subaru glosses over it, but finishes by saying that Lewis never acted suspiciously at all. Ram agrees, stating that if Subaru thought she was acting up, Subaru wouldn't have let her be with Ram. Ram, of course, has a very strict gaze on the situation. After all, she overpowered Lai Batinkaitos in the Pleiades Watchtower. Anastasia digests the information and points out that regardless, Lewis is needed for the upcoming battle, and furthermore her situation is not like Meili in the Agria Sand Dunes. They are both villains, but now Meili as an ally. In other words, if Meili is forgiven, so can Lewis. At least Anastasia pinpoints that's what Subaru believes. However, Anastasia explains that a Sin Archbishop caused a lot of victims. Even those like Ram, Julius and others were affected. They know that Lewis is now fine, but it's the past that is the issue. Anastasia then says that the past will never go away and that Lewis is separate to Meili and that they're not equivalent. However, of course Subaru wants to forgive both of them, including Lewis. Anastasia states that no matter what Subaru thinks, victims are victims. Many names and memories have been taken, and they are yet to be recovered. Roswell then states that they need her for the prophecy, and therefore they need to understand how they will treat the gal. Garfield is confused, but Roswell explains that they can get Lewis to cooperate, and then after she fulfills her role, she can be tried for her crimes. Otto looks to Subaru and asks if he wants to truly forgive a Sin Archbishop. Otto says that they've met many of them: Lai Batinkaitos, Capella, Regulus, Sirius, Beetlejuice. They all sacrifice others for their own desire. They cannot be redeemed. Subaru asks himself why. Back in the corridor of memories, Subaru refused to save Lewis. Even now he would make the same decision. But what has changed? Emilia asks Subaru why this view changed. Subaru says he stated it before. He went through hardships with Lewis. Not only that, the pain experienced in the Empire is greatly surpassed anything that the girl in the corridor of memories has done. Julius states that he needs to tell Subaru the brutal truth, that the people will never forgive an archbishop. Doesn't matter what country Lewis goes to, it's a consensus of the world. If you have sinned, you will be punished, and to repay that sin, you must be killed if you're a Sin Archbishop. Not only that, Julius expresses his desire to eliminate Lewis. However, Subaru thought about what was said. Only the death of the Archbishop is to be wished. There was something missing here. Beatrice asks if Lewis is a different person. After all, Subaru met her in the Corridor of Memories, and Beatrice met her in Pristella, so she feels like a different person. Subaru wonders if Lewis is like how he was when he lost his memories. Subaru comes to a realization and decides to recount his story again with his feelings. The scene changes. Rem is hugging Lewis, and she gets called by Ram. We see that Ram brought some snacks and tea for them, and also Tanza was brought along. Ram pours tea for them and Lewis chokes on hers and Rem cleans her up. Ram says that Rem looks sadder and it must be Subaru's fault. Rem then asks Ram what Subaru's relationship is with Emilia, and Ram's eyes narrow, and she says later on they can both tear Subaru apart as sisters. Rem is of course confused. Tanza said, however, she will not condone harm to Subaru. Tanza then gets asked how old she is, and she says 12 this year, and with that Rem seems a bit satisfied. There's a knock at the door, and Subaru is there. Rem had a deep feeling in her heart that the reason why she didn't participate in the meeting earlier is because she would get in the way, but deep down her heart told her to stay with Lewis as she had a bad feeling. Subaru comes in and teases Rem for a bit, but then says, let's get down to business. Subaru looks at Lewis and says, it's time for us to settle this relationship of ours. And with that, the chapter ends. So it was quite a long chapter. I thought it was okay. Nothing really happened when you think about it. It's just Subaru gets a reality check of you cannot forgive the sin archbishop. However, there's an interesting tidbit where Subaru is going to think of a technicality where it comes alongside the death of the sin archbishop. I'm not sure what he's going to do, but we'll see, I guess.